Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Patriots Real Time Podcast. I'm your host, Theo Deasnaus, joined alongside Brycen today. Um, if you know him on Twitter, you know that he has been going semi-viral right now in Patriots Twitter, you could say, for his Will Campbell take. We will be talking about that, as well as a keep or let walk game for the 2026 New England Patriots free agents. But before we get into all that, Brycen, how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. I had a great day today. I was sitting there, I was, having my little time to myself, and I was thinking about how great this podcast would be. And, at the end, you would tell me how great it was because I did so awesome. So I really did try to prepare a little bit because, we want your podcast to get some views here and for me to be fun. So I hope that I'm doing the best that I can. But I am having a great day, and I appreciate it to talk Patriots. And I actually don't appreciate talking Patriots, okay? Because Patriots fans are making me mad. So we're going to talk about that.
All right, I like that. I like
All
that.
right,
Thank you
cool.
for doing your research here.
No.
Yeah. All right, let's just get right into the Will Campbell thing. So you think he is a guard? You said before the show. I actually believe in Will Campbell the most Patriots fans do. Let's hear your
Yeah,
take.
I do. I believe in him more than all of you. All of you, crybaby, Will Campbell defenders, you don't believe in him as much as me. I just want to preface this by saying, like, the timeline is before the season, I was like, I was a big Tet fan. I love Tet. I was like,
Mhm.
this guy he's unbelievable. To me, this is a no brainer. And you guys told me, and I say you guys, not like you, but I mean Will
Yeah.
Campbell, because they're watching this. You guys told me that Drake May was going to get killed and he needed Will Campbell. Okay. I've got some news for you. Drake May was sacked almost 70 some times last year, including the playoffs. Okay. So,
Hmm.
like, and that was my argument, by the way, from the beginning. I said one player cannot fix an offensive line. And so going this, like, if you drafted Will Campbell like 30 or beginning of
Hmm.
round two, you'd be very happy with him probably. I'd still want him to be a guard. But that was my point the whole time. It's like you draft Joe Walt, like their offensive line was still bad, even though people were
Yeah.
hurt and stuff. Like one guy can't do it all. So just draft a weapon and we can find a way to shore it up. But it's the same. We're now going into the offseason again, and people like me are wondering, like, Stephon Diggs is a mid wide receiver one. Keyshawn Booty is really not what you guys say he is. And I say you guys, I mean people that overhype him, obviously.
Hmm.
Like I wrote an article about how this would be the best Patriots offense in years. I've been on this, okay? So I feel like I'm crazy now because everyone's suddenly disagreeing with my takes. But the Will Campbell thing is like I wanted to, okay? I think wide receivers are infinitely more valuable today because like I said, we just saw it. One guy can't impact the offensive line that much. Number two, Tet can because he's going to get 10 to 15 touches in a game, right? So he can immediately impact the game. One long catch is 7 points, right? Okay. And the other thing is like during the summer, I said the best line for the Patriots is going to be Campbell at left guard, Lowe at tackle. It has nothing to do with like Campbell's his bad player. Like I was just talking to Theo earlier. It's like you wouldn't say that Zach Martin is a bad player because
Yeah.
he doesn't play left tackle. You wouldn't say
Hmm.
Joe Tooney was a bad player. You wouldn't say Logan Mankins was a bad player. In fact, you would be like, these are great. These are excellent guards. These are all-time, all-pro guards, and they played tackle in college. You have T.J. Lang, Tyler Smith, Brandon Scherf, Joel Bitonio, Logan Mankins, Joe Tooney, Zach Moore. I just said them all. Like all
Hmm.
these guys played tackle and then they play guard. And all of them, if you look straight down the line, you can see all of their arm lengths are relatively the same as Will Campbell. And not only the arm length thing, it's like he's not only a 21, like I think it's a 21 percentile arm length guy, he's also a 7 percentile wingspan guy. And not only that, but he's 6'6" almost. So imagine this. Imagine it'd be one thing if he's a little bit shorter, but he's even bigger. So now he's top heavy. So if you listen to a lot of the players over the offseason, after the Super Bowl ended, they're talking about like Trent Brown. I used to stand Trent Brown. It's hilarious. Patriots fans are gonna know when they watch us. Like they said, oh, if we just need to fix Will Campbell's technique, right? And he's standing up too high, or whatever it is. Well, to me when I see all that, that's a product of his physical abilities and his physical attributes. He's really tall. He has a short wingspan. He's going to sit higher than most people naturally. For him to bend all the way down to the ground, imagine that. Like that's a far fetched thing, right? And the thing about tackle rather than left guard. And I'm not crazy, by the way, because someone who's way smarter than me, a couple of people that are way smarter than me have said this too. I think Brandon Thorne is one of the people. He's an offensive line guru, and he's said this from the beginning. He loves Will Campbell, by the way. He says
Mhm.
the same thing. It's like when you're on the left side, and remember the Seahawks corner that like did a blitz and went right around Will
Devon
Campbell?
Witherspoon. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because there's so much space. And when you're Will Campbell, he doesn't have the ability to reach out and punch like that and return because there's too much space. When you're on the left side, all that space outside, and then the inside, then they're always coming inside on him, right? And he is good at a lot of things. I think I've always said he's like an A run blocker. He's like a C
Yeah.
plus to B minus pass blocker. That's what I've always.
Mhm.
You can look at my tweets. I've always said that about him. Okay.
Yep.
I've always said that he's a good player, but asking someone like that to be a complete anomaly, a great player on at the left tackle, that is not pick number 4. Okay, and if you look down all the top tackles, you down their physical traits. It's like 34, 34, 34, 35. Trent Brown 36. Like there's one,
Yeah.
Rashawn Slater has slightly longer arms than Will Campbell, not by much, right? So you're asking, like to me, it's crazy. You're asking the guy to be that's physically not a specimen in that term to be a left tackle. You're asking him to do that, and my point was always like, okay, he can survive here at left tackle, which he did. He did, and there was some games where he wasn't very good, like the Steelers game, like the
Hmm.
Browns Myles Garrett game. There's a couple games where he
Week
faced
one,
good
he wasn't great.
he faced good pass rushers, and you
Hmm.
saw you can clearly see what the problem is, right? But then he's solid. So to me, he's a solid tackle. Like that's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. But if you would put him on the inside, I don't have to worry about Jared Wilson messing up anymore. I've got Will Campbell right there. There's not as much space in between the guard and the center, so there's not much moving to do where the arm length is going to be a problem. You have players who have less arm length, right? Defensive tackles that are rushing that are smaller, less athletic. It's much easier to block those type of players. I think he would be a perfect fit here. It's just like Joe Tooney, same thing to me. He can play tackle, but is it the smartest thing? And people will be like, "Oh well, like tackles are hard to come by." That doesn't mean you like completely hamper yourself. Like the Patriots might go into this offseason by paying a guard to sit next to Campbell just because I think they're making the wrong move. And for that matter, I know I'm saying a lot here, but if you look, people curse me when I like troll about Vidarian Lowe, but I do it just to show you, to get you to think a little bit. It's like the snaps per game. I think Campbell had 3 more than Vidarian Lowe in 2024. 1.5 versus 2.3 pressures per game. So not that much. Sacks, Vidarian Lowe per game basis had less than Will Campbell, slightly, right? And then it's like everything else is almost identical. Although hurries is like it's like point 0.3 1.6 to 0.85, so it's like double. But it's like still one extra hurry per game
Hmm.
or like half a pressure more per game. Like
Yeah.
I would. Why you're telling me you wouldn't live with like one pressure more per game and just Vidarian Lowe on the other side than just having Will Campbell inside? And by the way, like I think a lot of the issues with Will Campbell comes down to just him and Jared Wilson. When
Yeah.
you saw Vidarian and Ben Brown, it was not the same like that. They had trouble with stunts all year. Is that just them two? But if you had Will on the inside and Vidarian on the outside, I think that would be perfect because Will Campbell is an excellent run blocker. He's so good at it. He's awesome. Leave him in
Yes.
there. Like that's what I'm saying. Sometimes to wake you guys up, I have to say things like maybe a little bit mean about him, and I actually do not like doing that. But you guys won't hear me out if I don't do that.
Yeah. No, I agree with a lot of the things that you said there. One of the things that you mentioned, left tackle's a lot harder to come by, and I know that you kind of downplayed it, but you look at Vidarian Lowe last season, and as much as you can say like he had this amount compared to Will Campbell, Vidarian Lowe was bad last year. I mean,
He had
he
like 8
was,
more pressures.
but he was bad. Like I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Will Campbell was fantastic this year because does that include the playoffs? Your stats that you were looking at?
No.
Because it doesn't.
No, it doesn't even. If it includes the playoffs, then Vidarian Lowe's better. I didn't
Yeah.
include the playoffs because I wanted to be fair. Because
Mhm.
for me, I'm on the debates more. I'm going to argue that Will Campbell was not hurt because he was not on the injury report. You
Well,
have to you have to list injured players on the injury report. Drake May was on the injury report. Will Campbell was not. After he came back, he was never on it again. And something that Dr. David Chow said, who I trust, I've been around here for years. He's the one who said Drake May's got a hurt shoulder. Immediately, he pops up on the injury report. He's got a hurt shoulder.
Yep.
He said Will Campbell is 95% healed. Now, was he a little bit hurt? I mean, I guess, but he's not on the injury report, so it's hard for me to say like he was injured. He's playing great rushers, like elite rushers, like, and
hmm
he's struggling, which like of course those are good rushers, man. But that was my point. It's like you look at Vidarian, and I'm not saying Vidarian's like this great player or anything. If he's
He's
awesome, if
not.
we're it was awesome if we're trolling, but he's a
Yeah.
solid tackle, and you saw this year when he came in. It's like
hmm
he was solid. You know, I think he might have had one or two pressures. He was good. He was solid in those games with Ben Brown.
Yeah, he was. Um, Another thing that you said about the Jared Wilson Ben Brown thing, Jared Wilson did not help Will Campbell at all this season. He was bad. Jared Wilson was worse than Will Campbell this year. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah, but I do agree with you. But he's also the same age as Will Campbell, so are we not giving
Yeah.
him any sort of leeway?
No, I mean we can. We
Why?
can give
Why
him the
does
same
Jared?
sort.
This is my question to you. Why does Will Campbell get to sit there and develop for another year, and Jared Wilson gets middle fingers and like kicked off the team?
So Will Campbell played tackle in college, right? And I'm not saying Jared Wilson should be kicked off the team. I
I
think
am.
Jared
No, I'm kidding.
yeah, okay. Jared Wilson should be moved into center because Jared Wilson in 1 year at Georgia played center. I don't know when he played
Yeah.
left guard. Will Campbell played left tackle every year at LSU, and Jared Wilson was playing out of position. Now, I don't know if you moved Jared Wilson to center because of, I think Garrett Bradbury. I watched the tape in the Super Bowl. He was definitely their best offensive lineman in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Um, and he was solid all year. Maybe you add or put Jared Wilson in at center next season, but that's only if Garrett Bradbury takes a significant regression. So the thing at left guard, and I guess there's like more of a hole at left guard, you could say, and I
Yeah.
don't know, yeah, which is I
Yeah.
don't know.
That was kind of my entire point last year. This last summer, when people were getting mad at me, I said, "Look, would you rather go into the year and you would think, well, maybe Will Campbell's playing out of position, and also maybe Jared Wilson's playing out of position, and I've got two problems, maybe potentially three if Moses doesn't play as well as we think he does, or would you rather just simply take the nail on the head, just take Campbell, put him at left guard, that you know he's going to be fine there, and then you used to have Moses, but then you have one spot that you're worried about. I'm not really
Mhm.
worried about the other spots anymore. That's over. But then that's exactly what happened in the playoffs. It's like there was two spots the whole time. And then when Moses messed up, it's like, good Lord. But yeah, that was kind of my entire point. It's not really simply about like he stinks, he's not a tackle. It's just like, no, I think you're misusing him. It's just like if you have Travis Kelsey, you should not be inlining him and blocking him 20 times a game. You should be
Mhm.
simply running plays with him and making him catch passes. It's like, to me, it's a better use of Will Campbell. Like
Yeah,
he's Joe Tooney, and I just can't really understand why you would like sacrifice 10 years of having Joe Tooney when you I don't know how much better he's going to get. We can maybe argue about that, but my question to you is like, why does Nikhil Harry he doesn't get better? I mean, Nikhil Harry
right.
doesn't get better ever. Like we sit here every year and we're like, we just project like, oh, this guy, we're playing Madden, like he's gonna get these so many skill points and then he'll get better, and it just always is like you don't really see that.
hmm
That's not an often thing that you see from players. I think that this is who Will Campbell is. He's not as quite as bad as he was in the Super Bowl. He's not that bad, I don't think. Maybe he is. I don't think so. But anyway, I think that he's exactly what we saw in the regular season. He's a guy who's going to struggle with. He's going to struggle with elite rushers, but
hmm
most tackles will. That's kind of the deal. Like he's an average. He's a solid tackle. But I don't think that the Patriots should just. My worst fear actually is that they go into the season and just think like, well, Drake was hurt, and also Will was hurt, but oh, we didn't put him on the injury report, or whatever. But if those guys were healthy, then we'd really win. It's like I fear that very bad. I think we're in
hmm
a very bad spot if we do that, or simply if the Patriots were like, we just really need a guard, and then they spend like $20 million on some guard. Like I fear that the most out of anything.
So you don't think they need a guard, or you're just saying if they only spend on a guard?
Yeah, I just really think that I just see the problem with the Patriots is if they just move Will Campbell inside. they can just extend Vidarian Lowe, and then they can draft a tackle or two in the draft, and maybe, who knows, maybe one of those tackles hits and he's awesome, and they can just start him and he can be their swing tackle. Or maybe push it out for another year, have Vidarian Lowe play tackle. Like you said, it's not going to be the greatest tackle of all time, but he's going to be a decent pass blocker and a bad run blocker. And I don't really care about that. Will Campbell's got the rest of that from the inside. Like, actually, if you really look at it, the Patriots were like 30th in EPA, I think, when Will Campbell was playing and run blocking. And then from the time Lowe took over, they were like second. And that's not
Well,
really.
I think that's more of them adding Thayer Munford and him playing more as the jumbo tight end. He was added. I think his first game that he played was the first game Will Campbell didn't play against the Giants, and the run game got significantly better because of him, and I think that's why it got better. But it does line up timeline wise. But I mean, the run was good against Miami when Will Campbell was there. Not really like Miami was like wanted to be there or whatever, but it was good there, and it was not great. I thought it was actually pretty solid against Denver. They just didn't run the ball too often. Um, and then I thought Seattle, it was actually the yards per carry will tell you it wasn't good against the Seahawks. But I thought that they ran the ball effectively 2, 3, 4 yards against Seattle. At least Ramondre Stevenson did. He had 23 yards on the game. So, like, how well did he run? But I honestly think he was fine. And then people will be like, well, why'd they go away from the run game? Well, they couldn't. I don't. In the first half, that's a valid question, but like they needed to score because Drake just couldn't pick up first downs on third and whatever. So they needed, I don't know, they needed to generate some explosives.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm always going to tell you that, like, I'm not going to sit here and say the run game is that important because I really don't think it is. It's important, but
It can be.
if you pass for 8 yards a play and you run for 4 yards per run, I mean, just do the math. I mean,
Mhm.
I think the Patriots I think they ran the ball at a decent split this year, and it was just fine. That's exactly what it needs to be, which is why I'm not like I wouldn't be very concerned if Vidarian Lowe is your left tackle and your run game is like zero point 0.2 yards per carry worse. Like, I don't care.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know. I cannot. I would be so uninspired if the Patriots went into next season with Vidarian Lowe at left tackle. Like he is a solid backup, and he's
Have you
probably going to
seen
get.
his hype edits, bro? Do we need to post them
I have
all?
not seen a. I am the biggest Vidarian Lowe fan there is out there. Beginning of this season, I said Vidarian Lowe is not a bad player,
Why
and
did you turn, dude? You turned heel on
I
us.
didn't turn heel on him. I just don't think he's a starter in the NFL. That's the thing.
What changed your mind? You were right there in the summer. You were right. Why'd you change your mind?
I wasn't saying he was a starter in the summer. I was just saying if Vidarian Lowe has to play, he can be fine. He
Let's
was,
go. Yes.
but he's not a starter in the NFL by any means. In my opinion. And I don't know. I think you got to ride it out with Will Campbell as much as you want to say what you want to say. I do think the injury played a little bit of a part, and you could dismiss it, but you look back at the film from Week 3 against the who was it? The Steelers, right? You said watch the film week 3 in the LFG podcast, and I only watched 3 snaps, but I did see that Will Campbell was significantly more athletic. He was able to move better, and it was a huge jump. I went from in 2 seconds. I watched the last play of the Seahawks game because I watched every snap from that game. Went right, looked up week 3, and went right there, and I was like, whoa, this is a different guy. He is much more athletic. I was like, all right, maybe this is week 3. Maybe he got progressively not less athletic, but I don't know what's the word for it. Less energetic is the best word I can think of. It's not energetic, but and then you look at like week 10 against the Jets, I think it was, and it's still similar. It's still similar, and I think that knee did impact him, even though he wasn't on the injury report. Right? Like you can be a full participant at practice and still be dealing with something. And I know Drake was a full participant and was on the injury report, but he was on the injury report with the shoulder as a limited participant, which made him have to be on the injury report for that one day when he was a full participant, I believe. You can correct me if that's wrong.
You have to be on. If you're injured, it doesn't matter if you fully participate. You have to be on an injury report, no matter
Right,
what.
but like guys are dealing with things the entire season.
Yeah, but there's a difference in being hurt and being injured.
I think he hurt maybe. I mean, he did tear his MCL. Like
And he was like, you did see that he was very bad in the Steelers game, right?
I
A lot
watched
of
3 snaps. He was all right.
I
It was like the
mean,
first 3 snaps.
one place said 7. He gave up 7 pressures, and then PFF says 4, and he was Nick Herbig took his lunch. There's like videos of there's compilations of these videos online. It's like you
Hmm.
might be right, but you might be right. Like he may not been the same player after that, but he was also playing very elite rushers, very
Yep.
powerful, very elite rushers.
Hmm.
So, and I will can actually concede to you that he was not 100% because I did believe that.
Hmm. And you mentioned powerful in there, and I said this a little bit before the show, but Will Campbell struggles with a lot of things. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it. He struggles with guys going around him, and at least in the playoffs he did. But he also struggles with strength and power. And so when Will
Mm.
Campbell is going up against a 350-pound interior defensive lineman, he's gonna struggle with power even more than he did on the edge. So I don't understand why like some people think he's going to be. I know you obviously said he's going to be a much better guard if he continues to struggle with power. Yes, the arm length is more favorable as a guard, but he struggles with power. He needs to get stronger regardless.
See, I disagree. I think he's pretty powerful, man. Have you seen
Really?
those TikTok hype edits of Will Campbell bench pressing and squatting?
Yeah, but like
He's
I mean,
powerful.
watch the like he gets walked back into Drake May so many times during that Seattle game. Just
Yeah,
straight bull
I
rushes.
mean, you are right about that, but how much of that is just simply because it's hard to get your hands on those guys? It's like a lot of the times it's like there was a perfect picture, I think it was from the Texans game, where the pass rusher has his arm extended out on Will Campbell's chest, and Will Campbell is like not even touching him, and he's blowing
Yeah.
it like you can't. It's hard to like block a guy when you can't touch him, right?
Hmm.
And so that's my argument is I agree with you. Like if you're going to be that tall and if you're going to not have a wingspan if you're going to have a wingspan that's like 7th percentile and there you can find these like multiple pictures of him like not even having hands on people and they're pushing him
Yep.
back. And I
Hmm.
just think that when you're on the inside, it's much easier to get your hands on those guys and they may be bigger, but it's simply about leverage.
Yeah. Do you remember that Jared Wilson sack where he got walked back into Drake May?
Yeah.
Same thing happened to Jared Wilson there. I did notice that with a few Will Campbell plays in the Super Bowl. It happened 2 or 3 times, and I was like, the arm length is a little bit of a problem here. But
Right,
if
it's
he
not
learns how
over
to,
exaggerated, right? Like, very simply, when you watch the game, you see like there is like you can tell there's a reason why it's statistically an anomaly for him
yeah,
to like be a great tag. Like you see
mhm,
sometimes even Greg Cosell, very smart guy. He even said he's like you can see sometimes when you watch Will, he has a hard time because he just can't get his hands into guys' chests, and they're like just
yeah,
moving him backwards with one arm. Like
hmm
that leverage thing is like that's a big deal.
hmm but there is ways to combat the arm length, and I
I
don't
have
know.
a perfect way, bro. Listen to me.
Moving the guard
We got to start now, though. Seriously, we got to start our campaign now if we're going to do it. Listen, Will Campbell, if you're listening, I know you were listening, by the way.
probably is. Yeah.
You have to start bone smashing, okay?
Oh,
If
yeah.
Will, he can grow those bones, man. We can simply stretch him. We can simply bone max. I don't care what has to happen, but I don't know what else you do, to be honest with you, man. Like,
I
what
don't.
else
He
do you
could
do?
be
You tell me.
more aggressive, I guess, and not get. I'm. You said it earlier. Like we are not X's and O's. We are not. I don't know if you said this on the podcast. This could have been before the podcast. We are not. At least I am not a guy that knows arm length or technique to play offensive line. I've never played football in my life. I don't know if you have.
Yeah,
Have you? You have?
yeah.
Okay. Well, I've never played football in my life. Um, were you an offensive lineman?
No, I
Yeah.
barely play football, dude. Like, I would never claim to be like this awesome football player.
Yeah. I don't like I know, but I know that I think it was Teron Armstead. Was it him saying like he needs to be more aggressive and he needs to time his punches better? And I mean, I don't know.
I think they're right. I think those guys are right. You know, Trent Brown, one of my favorite guys, he said the same thing. He's like, it's just it's really a matter of a lot of people will say quick hands.
Well,
Quick,
did you say Trent Brown was one of your favorite guys?
yeah, my profile picture used to be Trent Brown. Like when the Patriots won the Super Bowl in 2018, I went
Yeah,
viral because I posted this picture of Trent Brown next to Aaron Donald, and he was like looking gigantic. And I just always
yeah.
loved, like when that first year when Trent Brown came in, he was so lovable and he worked so hard and it was awesome. So from then on out, I was like, dude, this guy's a Patriot. He loved the Patriots. It was awesome. So that's been my guy, man. But even he would tell you, he said yeah, like it might be a matter of quick hands, but my rebuttal to that, and yeah, I
Mhm.
do understand that, but is that something we can fix? Like, this seems like, people with Drake May, they'll be like, because quarterback's a little bit different. There's a lot of mental things there, and I
Mhm.
can see where they do develop in small ways. But a lot of these guys, like, they're physically maxed. They're like 22 years old, right? They're
Mhm.
strong, they're fast. They're not going to get faster. They're not going to get quicker.
Yep.
They might get a little bit stronger, maybe, but like he's not going to get that much more explosive. I personally think he's a great athlete. He's
He
like
is. Yeah.
he just has that issue where I think being very tall and having a small wingspan, like that does something to a person. I just don't know if that's something that he can just like suddenly have quicker hands. Like if he does, that's awesome. But to me, that's the thing of like, well, if N'Keal Harry just doesn't round out his route, he'd be a really good receiver. It's like, yeah, but like that's why he's not because he can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think coaching also a big problem too, because you kind of saw how he didn't. At least Jared Wilson and him both didn't really get better at stunts and stuff like that.
Right.
Although I did see that he was getting better at like receiving help from Hunter Henry. Early in the year, he struggled with it, but during the Super Bowl, I don't think he really struggled at all with it. I think it helped him, which was good. So improving there, but I don't know. Like you said on the podcast, I've heard Andrew Callahan say it. Like, how good of a coach is Doug Marrone? Like
Oh man.
we
I,
all know Doug Marone's name, but like
uh,
one of the offensive line coaches left. I've heard from Andrew Cal. He didn't tell me this directly. I heard it on a podcast that Doug Marrone doesn't have like a very hands-on approach. And he kind of just lets the guys do what they want to do. Don't quote me on that. It's something like that. But I
good.
don't know how good of a coach is Doug Marrone because Will Campbell and Jared Wilson didn't make great improvements throughout the year.
I love that you're saying that. I have this big Patriots chat. And we've all known each other for years. And there's like occasionally one or two things where we like actually literally fight for days on end. And one of these was this topic. And I'm
Mhm.
always the one like challenging them to like prove it. It's one thing, to say stuff. Our good friend Savage Boston, he says a lot of stuff. It's another thing to be like, okay, well, prove it. And so
Mhm.
that's how you know if you're right or not. And a lot of they would be like, man, Doug Marrone, he's in the building. He's going to be a great offensive line coach. I'm like, why? And they can't answer. They just go, oh, well, he's Doug Marrone. It's like, okay, he's Doug Marrone. Big whoop. You guys have no clue what he looks like as an offensive line coach. You
Yeah.
just know his name. With
Hmm.
Dante Scarnecchia, you could always see that every year. You saw him come back. I don't even remember his name now. I think they called him Goosh when Goosh got fired, and then Scar came in.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a long time ago, obviously.
That was
But like,
14. Right?
yeah, after the 15 years,
Yeah. Yeah.
16 came back, right?
Yeah.
So, but we knew that. But with Marone, no one knew this. And so I was always making fun of people, and I was like, Doug Marone, what does he do? I don't
Yeah.
know. But then in November, I had this tweet I just retweeted the other day where I said, all year long, the Patriots have struggled picking up stunts. What does Doug Marone do? Because this is like something that it's like clearly hampering them. And
Mhm.
it might be a matter of who they played and who they didn't play, but when Blow and Brown were in there, they didn't seem to have that problem. Now that would actually make sense to what you're saying. If he's like, well, just do your thing, and those guys are just inherently better at that, maybe, and then
Mhm.
Wilson and Campbell, but that like speaks big time to him because like the offensive line to me never really got better. It was just
Mhm.
always like random madness every week and stunts and stuff like this is just like is Doug Marone, who is this guy? What does he do? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you can never tell if a position coach is good as well, you can tell if he's bad at his job, and I guess you could tell if he's good at his job if the players are playing well. But like it's like are the players bad? Are the players just really good? Like you really can't tell if a positional coach is good unless it's someone like Dante Scarnecchia, like you said. Um, but yeah, I don't know. What does he do, Doug Marrone? Um, yeah, I think that's pretty good for the Will Campbell stuff.
Okay,
We can move.
you understand me better now. You don't think I'm
I
like some rude hater.
Yeah, I understand you. I understand you.
Okay,
Yes, a
there we
lot.
go.
I
See,
I like the
everyone on here
guard.
they just think I'm being rude. I'm being a
Mhm.
hater, whatever. It's like I'm attacking their worldview. They hate it, but
Hmm.
whatever. I've been here before, right? Nikhil Harry, Mac Jones, all this stuff, Gerard Mayo,
Hmm.
whatever. I've been here before. I've been hated before. I think I'm right.
Yeah. Hmm. Maybe. I gotta ask though, when did you think Mac Jones was a bust?
You want me to be honest with you?
Yeah.
Immediately.
Like when he started walking and he looked goofy
Yeah,
after they
this was,
drafted him.
yeah, so I knew, I don't know if you know who Mike Lombardi is, but he
Yeah.
described to the T
Hmm.
Mac Jones as a player, as someone that like Belichick would scout.
Hmm.
And like I said during that draft, people were saying this is the best quarterback class ever, and I was like, this is not the best quarterback class ever. This is
Awful.
going to be a disaster. And there are tweets where we're like hyping up Fields or we're like hyping up Mac. We're doing whatever, but as soon as we saw him and it like became very clear, like I always said, he has a very good moon ball. Like he can lob it up, and if it's
Hmm.
like 30, 40 yards and he's able to lob it up and he has time, it looks nice, but he cannot fire a ball in there. And that's what you need to have as an NFL quarterback. And I actually graded
Yep.
one of his games last year when he was with the Niners. And I was like, dude, this is like, he couldn't hit a player on the hash to save his life. And so it was like immediately, I'm like, dude, this is not good. And me and my friends, we fought about it so much. It was like, no,
Yeah.
Mac's actually good. No, Mac's good. And it was like, but the reason why it's like football we talked about before. It's Love Island for boys. It's like it's so people we're so into it as like not just the. I'm into it mostly as like are the players are good or not, although I do like Drake May a lot, I don't really have that sort of affinity for a lot of the players. But a
Hmm.
lot of these people, they do have that affinity for the
Yeah.
players. But the thing about that summer, if you remember, Cam stands were so relentless, and Patriots fans hated it. So they were like waiting to jump on the bandwagon to like have some player take him out and get him off the team, which is Mac Jones. This is why they love Mac so much. And then I was like out of the crowd because I was like, man, I'm not really a big fan of this guy. And, eventually it all fell apart, but for many reasons. But yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Going
don't
up.
think like I'll be honest with you, scouting is not hard, right? Like you and I, we can go to a basketball game, we can go to a football game, we can watch people golf, and we're not experts at any of those. But within 5 minutes of watching everyone play, you'll be able to tell me that guy's good, that guy sucks, that guy's good, that guy sucks. It's like it's really not scouting is low tier. They don't get paid that much money. It's not really that difficult. What's difficult is the pairing of the players together and the scheme and what you want to accomplish and all this stuff. And then there's the politics of well, I drafted this guy first, or I paid this guy
Yeah.
$100 million. That's where
Hmm.
the game is, and that's why I like the Love Island for boys stuff.
Hmm. Yeah. There was something I was gonna say. What was I gonna say? I don't know. Something about 2023, Mac Jones trying to like the Mac people that were still out there in 2023 that were
Yeah,
actively saying that this was not his fault.
yeah.
Going up against him, and this was like the first year I was running my account, was the most annoying thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of retired from online arguing over Instagram comment sections after that because of how annoying that was. And then we had the Joe Milton thing. The next year was like, oh, I don't know, Joe Milton. This could be RG3 and Kirk Cousins. Like, no, it can't. Joe Milton stinks. And we can all tell that he stinks because he was the 193rd pick in the draft, and Drake May was the third pick in the draft. And now when I did like this Joe Milton rant, and got a couple thousand likes and a thousand comments, and then all these people are like, no, Joe Milton's going to be this, Joe Milton's going to be that. Like, people call me racist. I'm like, no, I'm not racist. I can just see that this guy is not good. And then I came back to the post and I was like, after Drake May, after the regular season, and I was like responding to all these comments saying like, I don't know, Joe Milton, he's going to be better than Drake. And I was like, what do you think now? And they're like, yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong. Because people just, I don't know, they want to attach themselves to the next best thing. And I'm kind of guilty of this. I love Efton Chisholm. I bought an Efton Chisholm shirt in May because if he had a good OTA session.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but yeah, that's my
Now
thoughts
you,
on
now you see what it's like to be me because I'm
that.
constantly that person. I'm
Yeah.
constantly like, and as much as we all want to be like the guy that's liked or everyone loves
Hmm.
every take you have, it's like I've always been like, there's one take where people hate me for it. Mac Jones, Nikhil Harry, Gerard Mayo, like
Hmm.
but so it's okay. Trust your gut. Just like Will
Yeah.
Campbell.
Hmm. Yeah. I had a few takes this year that not a lot of people liked. My worst one. Oh, oh my, oh, I can't even speak. That's how bad the take was. It was bad. I said Drake May needs to learn how to win, or he like won't. I don't know, something about that. It was after week 1. I
You
was
sound
like,
like you're 50, dude.
yeah,
Drake May needs to learn how to win, dude.
like I was like, and then I was a little worried about Drake May's clutches, and like people were like, "You're overreacting. This is like," but like that's kind of how I felt at the time. And then I also was a little bit worried about Travion Henderson, and I think that's still valid about him having zero vision, and then he had vision for 4 weeks, and then he went back to his whatever, and I think that that's still valid. I made like 5 posts about how Travion Henderson and like Ramondre Stevenson, despite the fumbles, needs to be playing over Travion Henderson because he's just a better player. And then I had some Kyle Williams ones saying like, do not worry about Kyle Williams. I'm Kyle Williams. You talk about people being emotionally attached. Kyle Williams was my guy in the draft. I was like, you need to draft Kyle Williams. I
Me
did a
too.
podcast that said Kyle Williams is my favorite receiver in this draft class. Realistically, it was Matthew Golden, but like we weren't getting the Patriots weren't drafting Matthew Golden, who terrible. But no, I loved Kyle Williams, and I said before the season, I said if Kyle Williams has a few touchdowns and a few receptions, I didn't think he was going to have that little of receptions, but he doesn't have the greatest year of all time, but he has a few plays. I'm like, that's a good year for Kyle Williams because you look at the logjam of wide receivers. He's not playing over Diggs. He's not going to play over Mac Hollins. He's not playing over Booty, and he's not playing over Pop. At that time, Pop was like, I was like, oh, Pop is going to be great this year. I had a great, what was it, training camp. But I just didn't see a way that he could get on the field without something going really wrong for the Patriots. And so I thought Kyle Williams had a fine year for what I expected. He lived up to my expectations. But I think a lot of people, since he didn't have a great season, like even Jackson Smith and Jigba did not have a good rookie year. And look, he won the Offensive Player of the Year. Like you have to, and this goes back to you saying like players, like sometimes they don't develop. Yeah, N'Keal Harry didn't develop, but N'Keal Harry kind of stinks. And you do think Will Campbell's a good player, so he can develop. And Drake May didn't have the greatest rookie season of all time. He had 15 touchdowns and 10 interceptions.
It was
Like
good. It was good.
it was
Good.
solid. If he played like that again this year, he wouldn't be. We
It
would
was
be
good.
saying, I don't know. I'm not really sure about this guy.
It was good. You got to remember how bad the offensive line was.
It was bad.
I graded
And
a
you
lot
know
of
who was
it.
the starting left tackle?
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Yeah.
But he got sacked even more this year,
I do
and
think
that's your
that was a little bit
tackle.
of his fault. I will say that he likes to make plays.
But he
He
also avoids them, right? Like if you
he
look,
does. That's true.
I think PFF had this chart. I was arguing with someone spamming it. See, I actually do track quarterback fault sacks and
Hmm.
not quarterback fault sacks, and I'd have to go back and add them up. But there are a lot of times where like definitely that's a just throw the ball away. But a lot
Hmm.
of times he is actually escaping a sack.
That's
So
true.
it's really 1 for 1. He does take sacks. You're right. Everyone's right about that. But yeah,
Hmm.
a lot of times he is bailing out. Like just posted that Judon play where Judon is chasing him to death
Yeah.
and just mogs him straight to the end zone.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
you get it's give and take with those guys, but that
Hmm.
is one thing that he could figure out this year. It's like, but it's hard, man, when you're especially when you know that pressure is coming from the left side or
Yeah.
like I also talked about this with the guys. There's something that's not there's something suppressed within Drake May's game, and I think you see it leaking out of in his sack rate. And that is that he wants to be a playmaker and he wants to be a runner. And if
Hmm.
you don't, I think this is my psychology talking. I think if you give him those like couple plays a game where you can really get him on the edge and you can run him, you will see less of those him trying to make running plays happen so much. I think
Hmm.
it's so bred in him. He's a basketball player. He is a me guy a lot. He likes to go hard. He's awesome. But I
Hmm.
think if you would just feed him those couple runs a game, then you would see a lot less of the Drake May trying to run around and play hero ball. That's just my perspective. I think you would also get
Hmm.
less hits. I think you would get
Yeah.
less injuries. I think you would fall down and protect the ball more because he knows he's going to run for a couple runs a game.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I like that idea. He definitely needs to work on sliding. Um, yeah.
He slides so great. He's my favorite quarterback ever. He's the best slider of all time.
The Hufanga injury hit thing doesn't happen if Drake May knew how to slide.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't. The
Is
way
he
he
gonna?
slid was just the
No, no.
reason.
You're right, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if he's gonna like differently slide because if he's
Yeah.
already sliding like that, is he gonna change it? I don't know. I don't know.
It's not hard to slide. I played baseball for like 10. No, I'm not even 15 years. I played baseball for like 10 years. It's not hard to slide. It's really not hard.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it a preference to him? Would he rather just
Maybe.
get
Yeah.
crushed in the head than like get hit in the legs?
Exactly. Like some guys, they love to get crushed in the head, deal with
Yeah, I
it.
love
How
it.
many concussions do you think Drake May had this year that we did not know about?
Yeah, I don't. I don't even want to know. I don't think I want to
Yeah.
know.
Every time he hits his head, just not good. There were two instances this year where he hit his head right before when they were in the red zone, he threw picks.
Yeah, you've been listening to me, bro. I know you have because I say that on
No,
many podcasts.
I didn't hear
I've
that
said
one from
that
you, but
many times over the year. I'm like, dude, every time Drake May gets lit up and then he
Mhm.
throws an interception the next play where he clearly
Yeah,
should be on the sideline. And it's like, ooh, here's Drake May. He's really bad. It's like, no, he has brain soup right now and he needs to be on the sideline.
yeah. What happened in the Bucks game, and then it was a Steelers game.
Yeah, there was many times, man. Like
Mhm.
I think there was 4 interceptions on the year legitimately where he's like he just got cracked and then he just throws an interception. It's like it's just
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. All right, let's get into the free agent keep or let walk. Um, I want to start off with probably the biggest free agent this year for the Patriots, Caleb on Chason. What do you think?
oh, I don't know, man. It's like this is going to be a really rough year for the Patriots because they have Gonzo extension coming up. They can pay
Hmm.
Gonzo, right? Then they have the Diggs. I think by March 8th, they have to decide whether or not they're going to keep Diggs' base salary. So they have the Diggs decision looming here. He's going to be like on the hook for 26 million in cap, so they could restructure him. So you're looking at those two. You have Drake May's extension next year
Hmm.
looming too. So if you're telling me that you're paying $10 million in cap space a year for him, I'm gonna say no. But if they can get him on a similar deal, I would say yeah, just bring him back. Bring him back at 2 years, $6 million or whatever it is. But I'm sure he's gonna want. I don't know what his demand is, but I would not like bend over and die if he's like not a Patriot.
Yeah, I've been hearing high numbers for him, like 10 to 15 a year.
Yeah, that's
Um,
crazy. Like I
yeah,
don't know. I'm just like wouldn't pay that.
I wrote let walk, just
Okay.
because that is too expensive. Like Chason was good in the playoffs. He was good in the first two playoff games. He had like one good rep against the Seahawks. And then I don't know if anybody remembers this, but this guy struggled badly with offside penalties. And like, I constantly bring it up. But like, and people are like, well, that was earlier in the season. Like, this happened still. He struggled really badly with offsides penalties, and he wasn't great to start the year. I don't think he does like go out and get that money, but like, I don't know if he necessarily is a $15 million AAV player.
Yeah, a lot of we talked about this on our podcast. It's like a lot of the good Patriots pass rush was in my article. I wrote the one thing stopping them from winning a Super Bowl. This was like in week 10 or week 11, is that I didn't like their pass rush. It wasn't like not even mid. It was like not good. But
Mhm.
then once Milton Williams came back, and then Milton and Barmore kind of got a groove going on, then they were blowing stuff up, and then Chase on and Landry, those kind of guys are fast enough where they can like just clean up. Like it's not like
Mhm.
they're just awesome pass rushers. They were just clean up crew. That's kind of
Mhm.
what they are.
Yeah, 100% agree. So I think you can definitely upgrade him. Um, the next guy, Kairos Tonga, I'd bring him back. I don't think he's going to cost too much. He was a good run stuffer. He had his best year rushing the passer. He had this funny quote that I can't remember, like really what he said, but it was like he was like, "Yeah, I just realized that I kind of just have to do this, and then now I can get after the quarterback." And I was like, "That makes sense to me."
Yeah.
It was something super simple. And then he had his like he only had one sack, but he was rushing the passer like he's never done before.
Yeah, bring him back. He's a good fella, Bring him back.
Mhm. Yeah, little fullback action too. Hopefully, he doesn't have to play fullback next year.
Him and Milton. That would be the wishbone offense. Milton Williams, you got
Yeah,
him in there.
one snap this year,
Yeah.
both of them on the field. And that was when they almost didn't get the first down, but they did. Jack Gibbons, I have him as a guy that you would re-sign as well. Really, I like him as a depth piece. Took over the green dot when Spillane got injured. Not a starter in this league, but like as a depth piece, why not?
Everything is literally going to depend on how much money people cost. You never
Mhm.
know. I think is this the first year the cap is not raising actually?
No, I think it raised. It went
At
to
the
30. 2, I think. Well,
Okay. Maybe my
yeah,
fault. I was thinking about Super Bowl ratings for some reason. This is the
yeah.
first year Super Bowl ratings didn't increase. So I have too much information in my head. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of teams with cap. If
Mhm,
you can sign guys that know your scheme, just sign them. Just bring them back. If
mhm.
they're especially if they're those role player types of guys. You need them. If they prove to be good at that, you need that. Just keep them there, right?
Yep. Probably the biggest or most important Patriot free agent, Jalen Hawkins. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Um, One of my friends is like he's very smart, and he says that he's a replaceable guy. He's been good, but he's a replaceable guy.
Mhm.
So I would lean towards it. Just draft someone or whatever. So I'm not really. I wouldn't be looking to break the bank with that guy either.
Yep. Not a premium position safety is. He led the team in interceptions. He kind of showed his ball hawking ability. He had that really nice interception against Dylan Gabriel. You definitely need safety help. Do you know the 3 safeties on the Patriots right now?
Yeah, Jordan Richards is one of them. You probably know that name.
I do know that name, Jordan Richards. Not on the team currently, but
Yeah, no, the Patriots safeties are not good, and like,
Mhm.
but the thing is like, does it really even matter that much? Like the Patriots corners are pretty awesome. What's one thing I do actually hope they do is just move Marcus Jones to safety eventually. But
Really, he had a
yeah,
good coverage year.
yeah, he's small though, man. He's like
He
so
is.
small. He's so
hmm
tiny.
hmm Yeah. Um, yeah. Woodson, Del Pettis, and Brendan Schooler are your 3 safeties. In case anyone wanted to know, but
My
no,
chat hates Brendan Schooler. They're gonna love that you're talking about. They hate him so bad.
really, why?
It's just a random thing that people get. They just hate random players. They just hate Brendan Schooler. They're like, what does he do? I don't know. It's weird. I don't get it, but I'm like, okay.
He's a pretty good gunner for all the people in the
They just
chat that
hate him.
hate.
I don't know what it is. They just hate him.
Yeah, I don't know. I have his jersey, so I'm a big fan.
Yeah, what up,
Uh,
Schooler? We're a fan. Sign his jersey.
yes, sign my jersey, please, Brendan Schooler. Yeah, and then I'd keep the safety tandem together, Hawkins and Woodson. They
Yeah,
played
that'd be
together
all
at
right.
Cal.
That'd probably be. That wouldn't
Mhm.
be too bad, but
Yeah,
it's just like every one of these is going to be. Well, it depends on how much money they
yeah,
want.
yeah. Mhm. All right, let's go with your favorite player, Vidarian Lowe.
The goat.
Mhm.
He has
So
a
you want to?
touchdown, by the way.
I know. I was at the game.
You were at the game.
I was at the
Did
game.
everyone go crazy?
I went crazy. I
Dude,
yelled, "Oh, Vidarian Lowe!" Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's the edit. That's the edit I'm talking about right there. What about Vidarian Lowe? What would you like to know? Because I am Vidarian Lowe Stan Incorporated.
Let him walk or bring him back.
Yeah, I think you have to bring him back, man. He was
At
so.
$15 million a year, would you bring him back? Because that's how much a backup tackle. I think it was Jalen Moore got paid last year.
I don't know what Vidarian Lowe's gonna make. Maybe you're right. Maybe he'll get 15 million, and you gotta say goodbye to him or whatever. But I don't.
Hmm.
I'm not so sure that will be the case with Vidarian Lowe. It's not like he played a lot this year. I mean, he did play
No.
last year, but if you just judging by his numbers, last year he gave up 5 sacks. Will Campbell gave up 5 sacks last this year. So I mean, he's just a solid player. I like him a lot, and I think
Hmm.
that if they do plan on getting Will Campbell inside, you just sign him back because that's what tackles cost. You just go ahead and do it, lock it up, extend him, you know, whatever you got to make it right with the cap, whatever you got to do. Pat's cap isn't on Twitter anymore, so we don't know what the cap is or what anything could happen. Pat's
Yeah,
cap?
I do, but
He's
I
gone,
don't.
bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what's going on with this team now that Pat's cap is gone. Every
Yeah.
March, I think all these years I've used Spotrac and all these different things, and I'm
Mm.
off by $73. He's yelling at me. 73 cents. I'm off by. He's
Yeah.
screaming at me. What are we going to do without Pat's cap this year? I don't know how we're going to get a Vidarian Lowe extension within there, but that's exactly what I would do. If
Yeah.
Vidarian Lowe is going to be playing tag. Actually, you know what? That's probably not good. If you come into the year where he's like he knows he's going to be playing tackle, he'll probably be asking for way more money, obviously. But
Hmm.
if he's going to be playing tackle, you lock him in. You just lock. I think you lock him in if Will Campbell's inside. But
Hmm.
honestly, though, seriously, if they let Vidarian Lowe walk, I'd be like, okay, whatever, because I think they'd be able to find another tackle, or they just find a guard, and we just do this thing we do another year where we have a mid offensive line that people love. It's that's great, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Um, yeah, no, I don't know. I would let him walk if he's going to make too much money. If not, I'd bring him back as a backup. But then again, you got Vidarian Lowe as a waiver claim from Minnesota, right? In 23, ahead of the 23 season, I believe.
Yeah,
So you can find another Vidarian Lowe out there pretty easily.
there's not another Vidarian Lowe,
You,
bro. There's only one.
yeah, that's a big
There's
mistake by
only
me. You
one.
can find another backup level tackle, not Vidarian Lowe.
You can't find Vidarian Lowe's going to walk into that contract negotiation. He's going to be like, he's going to like literally pull up my tweets and he's going to be like, do you see this
Yeah.
hype edit that got 2,000 likes? Pay me now.
Yeah, he's like, how many other of our offensive linemen have touchdowns? Just me.
That's got to be it. Yeah, that's literally
Yeah.
Vidarian Lowe. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, you're right though. I mean, if he's making breaking the bank or anything like that, you just can't. You
Yeah.
probably can't afford to just have
Mhm.
Vidarian Lowe on your team as a backup tackle. But if he's going to be starting and he's going to be your left tackle and no one else wants to make him a starting tackle, then it might make sense to do that. Although I would just rather them. I did see where the Patriots visited with a left tackle today. Did you see that?
Okay. You got to do your due diligence on everything. Maybe you'll
Did
visit with a quarterback, right? Just to see
did
maybe a
see
camp
this?
body. I don't know.
I see this. I did see. I say this, and a lot of people don't understand. You guys just don't know what the power of social media does to a person or a team or how it influences it. You don't realize quite how many people you're reaching, right? When I have tweets that have 1,000 impressions, and I'm like, that was an L. It's like, but a lot of people still saw that tweet, right?
Yeah.
Whenever Gerard Mayo was on, I knew immediately. I was like, this guy is terrible. And I already like kind of did. I don't like that he snaked Bill. Not that I'm the biggest Bill fan ever, although it seems like I didn't like that. And then so every little thing, I was like, I don't like this guy. And then he did that thing where he's like, I sit here disappointed, and he was standing up, right? But once week 2 hit, I was like, dude, when they threw the Gatorade on him, I knew this was
Oh, me
not
too.
good.
Me too. Me
I was
too.
like, no, this is not. There's something going on. That's not good. Let's look into this more. And people think I'm crazy, but then once people, so I was like one of the first ones, and so what I'm saying is our voice is powerful. So I'm writing my next article about this actually. It's like you realize if you defend mid, you will get mid. However, if you throw an uproar, you might get some change, right? So it's like instead of just being like, let's give Mayo some chance, I went around. I messaged all of the big Patriots guys on 98.5, all these people. Every time they had a take that agreed with me on Gerard Mayo, I DM'd them. I said, that was great, King. Keep going. And I was just like stoking the fires behind the scenes. And so I know this stuff, and my chat knows this stuff. And with everything, it's like everything. Vrabel, you get Vrabel because Patriots fans love Vrabel. That was the difference. Really, make no mistake. They got rid of Mayo because everyone make their voice heard. Listen, this was a guy he was literally handed the franchise from the Crafts. That was his job. They were doing everything that they could to make sure that Gerard Mayo wasn't going anywhere. Remember when they censored Evan Lazar's podcast?
Yep.
Evan was me
What
and
do you say
Babs
again?
me and Babs clipped it when he said there was a mutiny in the locker room.
Yeah,
They
mutiny. That's what it was.
they
Yep.
censored this podcast and we put it out there and it just created this fire and then people started to understand and then he got fired. They were doing defense to make sure he would stay around and he was gone. And so then
Mhm.
what did they say? Well, the fans didn't like him. What do we do? And Ben Johnson's there, Vrabel's there. It makes sense. Go with Vrabel, right? And then everyone wanted Will Campbell. So guess exactly what you got. You got Will Campbell. I hate to tell you, but sports is like this in a little way. It's Love Island for boys. So when you have something that you don't like, you really need to talk about it. And that's why I do it so much. And Patriots fans will be like, oh, you're not a real Patriots fan because you don't think Kashawn Booty is elite. And it's like, no, I think he's good. But I just think that you can do much better than Kashawn Booty. We saw in the playoffs, right? It's like, do not hype mid. Make your voice be heard and cause a mutiny if you need to, right? All it takes is a couple of us just to be a little bit mad. Like, this is why I'm getting so insane on Twitter, like seeing people, they're just like, well, Patriots just need to pretty much run it back. And it's like, dude, the NFC is not
Yeah, no.
getting worse. The AFC
Mhm.
this was your year in the AFC. Next, the Bills may go out there and they may trade for George Pickens. You don't know.
Mhm.
The KC is going to be back. You just don't know what's going to happen this year. It's not the year to just walk in and be like, oh, that was good. That's good enough for us. No, you need to demand that things happen, and that thing just can't be like signing some guard or whatever and like drafting an edge in round one. Like that is not going to change your team. Okay. What they did last year was commendable and it was good. That was a good bridge to a long term rebuild. But now what we really need to do, and what I'm trying to gather in my article will probably be released Thursday, Friday this weekend or
Mhm.
something, just to piece everything together because I'm putting so much preparation in all you guys debating me about Will Campbell. I don't have time to write my own articles. But what I'm gonna say is like Stephon Diggs, he's all right. He's like a mid wide receiver one. He's like
Yeah.
not a top 30 wide receiver, okay? He's really not. And you have an outlier Drake May deep ball year, and what do you know? Kashawn Booty has a good year. He has like 500 yards. Hollins is like you need Mac
He had like
Hollins.
500 yards last year, but yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like
Mhm.
Mac
Well,
Hollins is
like
like Mac
both.
Hollins is an okay wide receiver, but you really needed him in the playoffs. That's crazy. That should not be happening, right?
Yeah.
Hunter Henry, all year I was saying, dude, every time Drake passes the first pass to Hunter Henry, it's like there's a miscommunication and they like there's almost an interception. Like nearly once a game it happened.
He
It
also
happened in the Super Bowl
he
almost.
also dropped like 5 balls this year,
That too.
which
So
didn't help.
if you gotta get Kyle Pitts, if you gotta do something like this, I think that's what the Patriots should really be focused on, especially if you think Will Campbell's awesome. Just go out
Mhm.
there and get a wide receiver, Kyle Pitts or something like this,
Yeah. I was waiting for that take, the fans take, all day. I was gonna bring it up. I was gonna be like, I know I heard you saying something about like the fans do this, so I'm glad that you brought that up. Um, so I do agree with you on the Gerard Mayo thing. I gave up on Gerard Mayo on October 18th, so I was right there with you. Um,
October 18th. It's like, dude, bro is like acting like this is a history book. What was October 18th? I don't even know.
October 18th was probably a few. No, this is how I know this. I was looking back at my old post today, and I saw the date, and I remembered it. I have an okay memory, so I
What
remember
was
the
it?
weird
What
things like
happened?
that. October 18th was a few days after, I think it was the Jacksonville game, and when they went to London, and I wrote a whole rant about how Gerard May was not ready for this job. And then I did a podcast, which I couldn't release because it was too bad. I said too many negative things. Like, it was
Oh my
really bad.
gosh, dude.
No. This was bad. I want to, if I can find this, I don't know. I didn't want to release it. But, anyways, I listen to it sometimes. I know you're disappointed in me, but I listen to it
That's
sometimes. It was so right. That's the thing, though. I was
That's
super right.
exactly, Theo.
Yeah.
Grab on to everyone's wrongness and go hard at them because you know they're wrong. Go hard. So many times in my career of being on X that I wish I
Mhm.
would have just went harder and I was just too nice. Now
Mhm.
I'm not like that anymore. I just go
Yeah.
hard now.
Yeah. No, I sat there and I said, I played a clip from the Breakfast Club. Oh, that's what it was. I was listening to the Breakfast Club podcast with Robert Kraft, and I heard this, and I was like, this is outlandish. And it was like, I knew Robert Kraft was talking. He's like, I knew Gerard was the next head coach when he orchestrated a game of Duck Duck Go, or not Duck Duck Go. That's a like
Duck, duck,
Duck
goose.
Duck. What's it called again?
Duck, duck, goose.
Yeah, whatever that game's called. Yeah. It wasn't that game, but he's like he orchestrated a discussion in the airport as we were waiting to go on a trip. And I was like, you hired the guy because he orchestrated a discussion? Are you serious? And I was like, obviously he coached for 5 more years. At the point that he said he knew he was going to be the next head coach, he had coached 0 minutes and was a business, whatever the hell he was doing, and when he was on Tom Curran's podcast. Um, but like, I was so pissed off about that. I was like, you put the future of the New England Patriots in the hands of a guy that orchestrated a discussion. Like, I could orchestrate a discussion. Sure, you could say he's a great leader of men, but like,
That's
come
why
on, man.
you know why he was the coach though, right?
Why?
Well, the whole rift between Bill and the Crafts was that Bill was doing things his way, and the Crafts wanted to run their football team the way they wanted to run it. They wanted their football team back. So this is
Hmm.
why they were like, "Hey, Mayo, you gonna play ball? Like, just do what we say." And remember, it was a collaboration. They use that word a
Hmm.
lot.
Oh, they did.
That's why they got Bill out of there. And look, if I had a team, I would want to run it like Madden. If I was the owner, I totally get it. But this is
Hmm.
exactly what they were thinking. So that's why Mayo was there. So they're just telling these stories, but he was really the yes man they needed.
Hmm.
That's why when we saw that he wasn't good, they went so hard back at us, and they were like censoring stuff. Like this is the most important thing of all time because they were scared to death that they would get someone in there really quick that wouldn't align with their views. But of course, they get Vrabel, which is like it's right there.
Dude, they kind of did this like after they fired Parcells. They got Pete Carroll, who was not far as far as of the extent or whatever you want to say, but he's not going to push back on you. And then you're like, all right, well that didn't work. So then you go with Bill for 25 years, and then they kind of forgot that, and then quickly they realized, well, yeah, actually, no, we don't want this, and then they hire Vrabel, and so I think that they kind of made the mistake twice, but at the end of the day, it didn't really cost them too much. Um, but I was thinking about this. The 2024 Patriots were so bad. Like you look at the 2023 team, and at least it's like Christian Gonzalez got hurt, Matthew Judon got hurt. It's like at least there's Mac Jones was the worst quarterback to ever touch a football.
Yeah,
You had Bailey Zappi playing significant snaps, like Malik Cunningham. Like the 2024 Patriots, their biggest injury was Jawan Bentley, who yeah he's a good player. He's not even on a football team this year. Like
yeah.
they were so bad that they're big. Like I guess they lost Barmore and Peppers, but like Peppers is not playing for the Steelers, and like I don't know, they were so bad in 2024, but we moved on, so it's good.
Yeah, well, the 2024 draft was absolutely terrible.
That's true.
It was
Remember when
like,
people are like, "Oh my goodness, Elliott Wolf, what a draft! You get
yeah,
Jalen Polk." It's like, why did we not take A.D. Mitchell, who obviously also not that good, but at the time I was pissed that they didn't take A.D. Mitchell.
that was a that one. That is the one that has costed them the Super Bowl. To be honest with you, if they literally just had one wide receiver that was sentient that could play snaps above Matt Collins, that might have won them the game if they had a tight end or a weapon or something like that. But they failed miserably in all offense. Man, it's like that's what really worries me is because I've always said this for years, and things may change, and sometimes they do change. But defense, having a great defense, it's so hard to hold on to that. It's so random, and a lot of these guys get hurt. So when you have one good year where not a lot of people are hurt, you don't have injuries. It's so hard to replicate that. So that's another one of my concerns for the Patriots, and the only way to combat and to beat other offenses is to simply score more points than them
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. So that's
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think the defense was great until the postseason. They had a fine regular season. Milton Williams getting hurt didn't help. Robert Spillane getting hurt didn't help. The run defense, historic, obviously.
it was
But
good. It was
like,
good defense. Points per
they were a
game
good
wise, it
defense.
was good. Yards per play, it was good. You know, when I did my article, like I told you, it was like they just could not rush the passer. But once
Yeah.
Milton got back in the regular season, they started doing it. And they had like 96 pressures leading into the Super Bowl. So like
Mhm.
they did actually turn into a decent defense, and
Mhm.
they were probably like a top 10 to 12 defense all year, but then they
Yeah.
turned into a top 5 defense in the
Mhm.
playoffs, like you said. So
Mhm.
shameful that we squandered that. So sad.
Yeah, it is.
That was our '07 2011 Giants moment. We just squandered that.
Yeah, I was like, well, I wasn't alive for the 2007 Super Bowl, and I did not watch the 2011 Super Bowl. But I've heard in the 2007 Super Bowl that well, I also I rewatched the game or the highlights of it, but I like the offensive line obviously had a terrible day. Brady was pressured. The offense lost steam as the season went on. They were putting up historic numbers against Miami and then Washington, and they're scoring 50 points. And what did they score? Like 45 points in the first half against, or maybe not 45 points, but it's like 35 points against Miami one week. And then you go into the Super Bowl and they lose to Eli Manning, who is not a good quarterback, as much as
Brady's
people want to
fault.
put him in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he was
Rem-
pressured. Wait, you really can't debate with me on this because I, once again, wasn't alive. But you
No, no,
know,
but do you remember did you ever hear what Brady said before the game?
I heard he was confident, right? He said something.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was like something. Can't remember. It was 17 points, but he was like, "You think we're not
Oh
going to
yeah,
score
that's right.
17 points?" And then, of course, they lose.
Yeah, he scored 14 in that one, but then he
But
scored
they were
17 in
so
another one.
close. Brady had that bomb to Moss. It was so
Yeah.
close.
No, but the real question is, why are they going bombs away all 4 downs on the drive? What'd they have? How many? I don't know how many seconds they had, but they had time to move the ball down the field. Also, there was something that I posted about where it was the Patriots. They went for it on like 4th and 12 in field goal range at the end of the first half, or it was a random time. It doesn't matter. The time doesn't matter. But they had time. They went for it on 4th and 12 instead of kicking the field goal with Steven Gostkowski. And I looked up the stats for him. He was like 3 of 5 from 50 plus, which is where the field goal would have been. But like they lost by 3 points. So that if he makes that kick, it's 17-17.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Belichick.
Bella fraud.
I'm not a big Belichick fan. I can't stand Belichick right now. Or
It's funny because I was making I would call it BB out, hashtag BB out, and we would like put X's on his pictures, and we would just say like, I've been a Patriots fan since 1945, and this is the worst coach I have ever seen, and people would take it serious. So I was like the first one. People always, it's the same thing with Will Campbell. People think I hate Belichick. I just thought that he's Brady is clearly was
Mhm.
clearly the main reason. However, you could argue, I did write an article about this. It's like, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, Bill was Master Roshi to Tom. He did teach him a lot, but Tom Brady was the GOAT. Not anymore
Mhm.
because Drake May's the GOAT, but Bill did a
Yeah.
lot for Tom.
Tom, no dog in the fight, Brady. But
Yeah, oh yeah, love that guy.
yeah,
Gosh.
yeah,
Patriot, I don't want to say anything about the statue.
yeah. No. I saw the statue yesterday for the first time.
Did you? Put a
It,
Drake May jersey on it, man. That's what I'm going to do
yeah.
when I get there.
hmm the Drake. They need to put a Drake May statue. That's
No,
what
they
they
need to
need to
put
do.
a Drake May jersey on
No,
the statue.
and a Drake May statue.
And a Drake May
They need to
statue.
have 2 Drake May statues.
Yeah, they should have two actually.
hmm
One where he's like concussed, and then one where he's
Yeah.
standing during a touchdown. The
Yeah, and the one
duality.
where he's like arms out versus the Ravens. That would
Damn,
be a cool statue.
Aura. I love
Yeah.
that.
All right. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about with the take that you had about the fans is the Will Campbell thing. Them drafting Will Campbell because
Oh,
of the fans. That
yeah.
I do not agree with, and
Oh,
I don't know
really?
if I didn't necessarily want Will Campbell in the draft. I was like an Ashton Genty guy.
Mm.
Um, I thought that they needed to, like you said, get guys that could create with the football. I didn't think the running back room was great. Still don't think it's great. I don't think Travion's too good. Well, he can develop into he. I talked about he doesn't have great vision. Ramondre Stevenson had like 6 good games this year. Let's be real. And then Antonio Gibson was probably their best running back when he wasn't hurt. And who knows? He probably won't be the same player coming off the ACL. So you still might need a running back. But I was an Ashton Genty guy. But the Will Campbell thing. So, and Mike Vrabel actually got asked this question, and this kind of related um, during the Super Bowl media availability, and he talked about how he went out to barbecue with Will Campbell. And I think Mike Vrabel just really, really liked Will Campbell. And I think that I don't think it was the fans. I don't think Mike Vrabel. He says he checks Instagram when he wakes up for 1 minute. I don't think he's seeing that on Instagram.
It's
But
not up to him though.
I think it is. I think it's up to him. I don't think Elliot Wolf. By the way, met Elliot Wolf once. Yeah, it was. I don't know. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but great guy. Great guy. He signed a napkin for me. But yeah, no. I definitely think it was up to him. I really think he pushed hard for Will Campbell. I think he really, really liked him. I think he
I'm
liked.
sure he did really like him. I'm sure he did. Like
I'm sure he
honestly,
still likes him.
I'm sure he likes him a lot. I'm sure he did.
Yeah, and I think that's why they drafted him.
Yeah, I just kind of disagree with you. It's like Drake May thing. They were very close. They were very close. I remember I had tweets about this. I was scared to death the day before the draft because I was getting texts, and I do know some people, and I was like, dude, they're so close to trading Drake May. And then it came out like the Vikings were offering a bunch of stuff for
hmm
Drake May. And for them, it just really comes down to we're rebuilding without Bill. We need to have a quarterback. They drafted
hmm
a quarterback. So it's not like this thing where it's like typical conspiracy theory things. Like everyone just doesn't sit down and be like, listen, we need to have a left tackle. It's just a matter of fact. Like Drake May needs to have a left tackle. He doesn't have one. So they find a left tackle for Drake May, and he was popular with the fans. It was an easy pick to stomach, which is what they needed, these easy wins with the fans. And I'm not saying that Will Campbell's a bad player. But, however, I just don't think he should be drafted number 4 overall.
I don't know if it was an easy thing to stomach because all draft process long we're hearing, oh, Will Campbell has short arms. Will Campbell will never be a tackle. So I
Yeah, but
don't know how.
Patriots fans loved him though, man. Like
But
that
did
was their
they?
guy. Yes, that was their guy, man. Like I have fought this for so long. The Will Campbell FC, they go so hard, and I respect it. But man, these people love Will Campbell. Like he was the guy to draft the entire time, the whole time the Patriots. When you get national guys that are like Will Campbell is the guy, like that's very hard to go against that, especially if you're Mike Vrabel. So I'm sure they did like him. Like
Mhm.
I'm not saying that he was like pick 100 for them and they just reached up and draft. I'm sure it was like there was a mix of guys and they were just like, well, let's pick Campbell. We like him a lot, and Drake
Mhm.
needs a left tackle. Very simple.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's get one more free agent in, and then kind of wrap this up with a little draft slash Max Crosby talk. Austin Hooper. What do you think?
No.
Yep. I
No,
agree.
and that ball that floated over his head by Drake May, that is
Mhm.
clearly a bad Austin Hooper route, by the way,
Mhm.
which I didn't think
Yep.
when I was watching because I was tired and upset. But after watching it, it's like very clear that the Patriots can do better at all of their. I just can't believe that Patriots fans will just settle for this stuff. It's like Hunter Henry's okay, and then you have Austin Hooper, and then it's like, dude, you defend this mid so much. It's so aggravating to me. Like these guys are not good. Hunter Henry is not good. Austin Hooper is not good. They used to be good. They used to be okay. And Austin Hooper might be okay. Like he's okay every once in a while, but like he's just clearly not someone you want playing 30 snaps in a game, right?
Mhm.
Get someone that can actually do that. If you're gonna have two tight ends, do that with a good
Mhm.
player.
Yeah. Your camera just went out. I don't know what happened there, but oh, there
Oh,
you
it's
go.
because I was hand gesturing. It's like if you're gonna
Uh,
use hand gestures, how about use this? It's like no, I'm gonna hand gesture without the AI, okay? Because I'm hand gesturing. It's a power move.
there we go. Yeah.
No, Austin Hooper, no. Don't get Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts or something. Tight end
Mhm.
is not a hard. It's not a hard position to scout. It's like one of the easiest actually. Just get a guy that can catch and runs fast. Okay.
I think and I know this is kind of going to go against what I've been saying about Will Campbell, but I think they need a blocking tight end for because you said you want to plug maybe Vidarian Lowe, but you also said maybe a rookie, and I think a rookie's not going to come in and he's not going to be great. Hypothetically, if they do move Will Campbell into guard, which could happen, I don't think it's. I'm just going to make a bold prediction. Will Campbell, no matter how much you want Will Campbell to move to guard, it's not happening. Will Campbell, Mike Vrabel's not going to move him to guard. He's not moving him to guard, center, or tight end,
Not with
as he
that
said.
attitude, he's not.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not doing it. I have zero confidence that he will be. But let's say in 2027 or 20 next season he stinks, and then in 2027 they move him to guard. With a rookie left tackle, you're going to need a guy that can help him out. And Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper are simply not good blockers. So I think you need a guy that can block. And I think if you bring in a Kyle Pitts, you can't have Hunter Henry. And I think so if you bring in a blocking tight end, you can bring back Hunter Henry. Now, it wouldn't be the greatest thing in the world, but if you go out and you completely revamp the tight end room, because they've really pushed it down the road. Kind of last season they did it, where it's like, all right, we'll re-sign Austin Hooper, and then they did it when they re-signed Hunter Henry. You probably could have got a better player. Maybe you could have even got Tyler Warren in the draft if you don't like Will Campbell that much. But um, yeah, I think they need to go out and um, what is it? Draft a blocker, a guy that can get open, but he's primarily a blocking tight end. And then they need to go out and sign either Kyle Pitts, Isaiah Likely, David Njoku, something like that, and completely revamp the tight end room.
Ugh, I don't like the sound of any of that stuff, man.
Really,
Yeah, it's like David and Joker. This is like, what is this, 2019? What is going on in
you don't
this?
like Kyle Pitts?
I like Kyle Pitts. I'll be honest.
Well,
I
I was
like
saying
Kyle.
one of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like tight ends. Jeez. It's like I just really don't like tight ends that much, and I hate that the Patriots love them so much. It's like one of those things where like Gronk was always lauded for his blocking, But like
Mhm.
the fact that Gronk is not like catching passes on every play is like really indictment. And that's what I like what the Chiefs do with Kels. They're just like he's just gonna catch passes because he's awesome, and we're just gonna have him catch passes, right? We're not gonna have him block 20 snaps. But yeah, you're right. They do need a guy who can block, but that's not very hard to find. They'll be able to find a tight end that can block. Those guys are everywhere. You can find those guys if you want to easily. The matter of fact is they do need someone that can simply catch the ball and produce yak. And that's
Mhm.
if it's not Kyle Pitts, it's got to be someone, man. Like
Yeah.
I don't care if they have to double dip in the draft. I don't care what they have to do, but like simply, Hunter Henry cannot be a thing again next year. It's like him. Not only is he slower, not only can he not run block, but him and Drake are just not on the same page anymore.
Mhm.
They're really,
Yep.
they're really not, and it's a huge problem actually.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with that. Although I do like David Njoku a little bit more than you do. I think the most likely scenario, and I don't say this to be funny, is Isaiah Likely. Um,
Isn't that funny how everyone always does that? You're like, you say like the word, you're like, I don't mean to be blank, but blank, it's because you're thinking of the word already. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. I was thinking about that one while you were talking. But yeah, Isaiah Likely, I think, where'd he go? He went to BC? Or he's from Massachusetts? I don't know. But there's the whole common thing, which I don't buy too much into, but the Patriots do need a tight end, and I think that they will address it with him. All right, 31st overall pick. Would you be open to trading it for Max Crosby, AJ Brown? I wouldn't trade the 31st overall pick for AJ Brown. I just don't think he's worth that much. But yeah, I do it for. I honestly, I think. I don't know. I wouldn't. I think if you're trading the 31st overall pick, and you might call me crazy, but you need to get a wide receiver one. Like, yes, AJ
AJ
Brown is the
Brown.
wide receiver one.
AJ
Okay, you want to move on from Stephon Diggs, but how big of a difference does AJ? Yes, he's a better player. I know, and it's
Wasn't he
it's
like
going to be a little bit.
was he like first in first downs this year or something like that? It was like he was first in some incredible category that I can't recall, but I just saw it again today.
I still don't think you give up a first round pick for him. Yeah, he's a great player. But a
Well,
first round pick.
also the Eagles have to designate the trade June 2nd, post June 2nd. Like they can't.
Oh, post June 2nd.
Yeah, I don't think that they would be able to trade one of this year's picks for AJ Brown. I don't think that they can. I could be wrong. I'm not Pat's cap. I don't think that they
Mhm.
can designate a trade post June 2nd, pre
Okay.
June 2nd, post June 2nd, because they have so much
Yeah.
dead
Yeah.
cap
Yeah.
to deal with if they deal him.
Mhm.
They have to do it after June
Mhm.
1st. I don't know what the terms are that. I just think that I'm not sure they can do that before the draft. So it would be like next year's pick, I think.
Yeah.
I could be
Well,
wrong.
yeah. Regardless, second round pick, no matter what draft, I
Well, I
still
mean,
think is perfect for AJ Brown.
yeah, I mean, he's young. Drake May. The one thing that you have to think about, it's not just about AJ Brown, because it is about AJ Brown, but every single time that you give Josh McDaniels one of these players that is actually really good, like Brandon Cooks or Randy Moss or these guys like that,
Hmm.
he simply throws the ball downfield at an incredible rate, and it's awesome every single time, right?
Hmm.
So just a matter of getting AJ Brown and knowing that you're going to throw the ball to him a lot. Their offense is going to be way better because they have the best deep ball thrower in the NFL. It's like a perfect match.
Hmm.
AJ Brown and Drake. Man, now there's other wide receivers too that they could get and use their picks for, but I really think that they should trade for a wide receiver or sign a wide receiver, something like that. But Max Crosby, I'm not really that interested in that, to be honest with you, man. I'm not.
All right. So 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I was sitting there and I heard Evan Lazar on Patriots Unfiltered say this. He said, "Imagine a defensive line with Max Crosby, Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, and it doesn't even matter. Like you could plug in Elijah Ponder. I like Elijah Ponder personally. You could re-sign Chase on. I don't think you would need to. Maybe it's Harold Landry because I completely forgot about him. Maybe it's Anthony Jennings. Just sit there and just visualize how good that defensive line would be. And yeah, you have to give up the 31st overall pick. And yeah, you might have to give up a second round pick next year. But oh my God, that defensive line would be a top 5 defensive line in the NFL. It might be the best defensive line in the NFL.
Yeah, but what if you're still scoring 12 points in the playoffs?
Yeah, but like, that's a good point. It's a good point. But like, you don't just because you trade for Max Crosby doesn't mean that you can't do anything else. You can sign
Yeah,
Alec Pierce. You can sign a guard. You can sign.
yeah,
You can
you're
still
right.
trade,
You're right.
draft.
You're
Mm-hmm.
right. I'm simply talking about priorities here, and I would not prioritize Max Crosby. Now, if it goes to a time where there's like no wide receivers left, and Max Crosby wants to come to the Patriots, then sure, I'll take Max Crosby, and I won't be really that happy about it. But I don't know, man. Is Max Crosby a Patriot kind of guy?
I don't know. Seems to like Vrabel.
Does he?
I think so.
I mean, if he's on the Patriots, I mean that would obviously be cool. But I just don't see how like they had 96 pressures in 3 games. I just don't really see
Yeah,
like
with like scheming blitzes from Zach Core and like a great defensive game plan. Imagine the reason this, like we saw it last year, we saw it this year. The teams that win Super Bowls are able to get pressure rushing 4 guys, and the Patriots just simply can't do that. And you potentially might lose Chase on, so your pass rush gets even worse. And yeah, you could draft a guy in the first round, but I don't think he's going to be as good as Max Crosby, who's what, 28, 29? Like he's not even that old.
yeah.
So
I mean, I'd be excited if he was a Patriot. Really, I would. I just, for me, this offseason, I would like to prioritize the offense a little bit. But if they end up signing Max Crosby, I wouldn't be mad about it.
mhm,
We would stand that.
mhm. So what do you think about Alec Pierce though? Just another mid guy
I
or
mean,
no?
he's all right, right? I mean, he's an okay wide receiver, but I don't know if it's like what kind of difference is it making during the game. I don't know.
He's a better Kayshon Boutte.
Is he? I mean, they love Kashawn Booty. I mean, he's not going anywhere, right?
I mean, I know that you're joking, but like, I don't think that Kayshon Boutte's going anywhere realistically.
No, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
he's they like him a lot,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. I thought you were talking
um,
about the fans. Yeah. No.
they they like Booty a lot, and I do too. But like, the thing about the Patriots teams when they had Edelman, and
Mhm.
people failed to realize this, a lot of times they didn't bring in wide receivers because they did not want to pay them more than Edelman made, and Edelman did not make that much money, and that was like a big sticking point for them. And when they got AJ Brown, that was like not AJ Brown, Antonio Brown. That was like the first time that they did something like that, and it changed the offense completely. But I do wonder, do you have Diggs? Maybe it doesn't matter, but you have like a guy like Booty that maybe he's like seems like a player that they're going to pay. Do they bring someone in and like they're like, well, see you later, or what do they do with Diggs? It's very hard to. They're gonna have to do something with Diggs before they like just go out there and sign Alex Pierce or
Yeah.
whoever these guys are. They're gonna have to. They got to do something with them, whether it be let him go completely, whether it be restructure him. But something's got to give here because there's just you got Booty, you got Diggs, you have someone else in. It just seems like that's a lot.
Yeah. No, it is a lot. I think you get rid of Pop Douglas. I don't think he's on the team next year. I think he's a fine player. He's fine. He's fine in
Yeah,
the locker room, but like really, I don't know how Pop Douglas. I was like, I think Pop Douglas has like 11 receptions, and we were in like week 15. I was like, Pop Douglas has 29 receptions.
yeah.
There's no, I he didn't contribute much. He contributed a little bit in the deep passing game, like in the Bengals game. I remember he had a nice catch. Saints game, he had. Kind of forgot about the Saints game during that, but Saints game he had a few targets down the field. One of them was a penalty that got wiped out, right? Something like that. That game was awful for refereeing.
How about
Um,
the fourth down catch that he fell backwards?
yeah, the one-handed one.
Mhm.
That was Drake concussion May. Um,
Also, he could have just fell forward like very clearly, like just
oh, you're
I
talking
was
about the one against the Steelers.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one where he had the one-handed catch against the Titans.
No, no.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, the Steelers game. That was awful.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, you're right, Paul Douglas. I really like him a lot. I think he does have some traits, but he's just like
He's got traits, yeah. He's just too short.
there's something there. He's too small. He's too short. He's going to be on the outs, but they just can. I'm going to be so sick if they run it back with Matt Collins, Diggs, and all
Mhm.
these guys. And the Patriots should and the fans should be like, our schedule is going to be harder. We can't be schedule kings. We gotta prove these people wrong here.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the Patriots, the more I think about it, they might have been a product of their schedule a little bit. The deep passing game didn't really happen in the playoffs. when you're going up against some pretty bad teams, you're going to be able to exploit their weaknesses. And then when you go up and you face the Texans and the Chargers and guys that can actually rush the passer, I don't know, maybe they were a product of their schedule.
Yeah, I do think that that is a lot of it, you know. And
Mhm.
although, if we're talking about like Drake May stats, he didn't really get to pan a lot, which I do get
Yeah.
angry about because he should have
Mhm.
won MVP, but he sat a lot. But
Mhm.
I think it would be a gigantic failure if the Patriots go into this year and they're just like, you know what? It wasn't really because we played a lot of bad teams, because they did. It was
Mhm.
just, you know, we just need to block a little bit better and whatnot. It's like, dude, we all know if they go into those games with a top five, top 10 defenses and they have Diggs, Hollins, Douglas, Henry, they're going to get crushed. And I don't care
Mhm.
how long they block for, they're going to get crushed.
Mhm. Yep. Nope. I agree with that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We covered a lot. Hopefully got you prepped for that Will Campbell debate tomorrow.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll see about that. You know, we've been DMing. I think Pat's Pro's mad at me, so that'll make for a good debate.
yeah.
But yeah, it should be pretty fun. I hope you guys come to watch because
Mhm.
I'm gonna make everyone see that I am Will Campbell's biggest defender. And by the end of
Yeah.
it, everyone will realize that I'm the one who believes in him. I know he'll be an All-Pro guard. You guys don't think he's an All-Pro left tackle? That's for sure.
I don't. Definitely use the point about the Travis Kelce thing because that was a good one where you said like you don't want Travis Kelce playing. I don't remember what you said, but like
You don't want Travis Kelce blocking 20 times a
right.
game. You want him
Mhm.
catching passes, right?
Yeah. No, I like that point. But yeah. All right. Thanks for coming on the show. Um, this show will be back tomorrow. We're doing a crossover pod. Um, so yeah, that should be fun. And
You're doing another podcast tomorrow?
of course, you got to stay on the grind.
You're grinding, man.
It's
Um,
February vacation. I don't have school.
okay, I got you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy, man. A podcast. I mean, I'm doing a podcast tomorrow, but that seems like
Yeah.
that's
You are.
even that's crazy to me. I'm not doing
Mm.
this much content. I'd rather like I used to do a podcast, but I would rather today. I like doing podcasts with you guys and hopping on, and anyone that
Mhm.
wants me on their pod, I'll gladly come on your podcast whenever you want if I can. But
Mhm.
man, to
Yeah,
do
definitely have you.
podcasts like every day, what are you talking about, man?
No, I
There's
don't do a
not much
podcast
going on.
every day. I mean, I didn't have time to do one like the entirety of the postseason, which is bad. But I'm making up for it now. I've done like 5 podcasts since the Super Bowl ended. I'm bored. I have nothing to talk about.
I mean, tomorrow you're going to be talking. You're going to be like Savage Boston tweeted this. I mean, what are you going to be talking about, man?
No, I have an idea.
Babs met with Michael Rubin. I mean,
Yeah, no, I have an idea about so we're gonna be doing like a game-ish debate show because my host is or my co-host isn't on right now. He's at a UMass basketball game, but he we all went to the sports broadcasting camp, the kid that we're doing it with, and we're gonna do like a few debates and stuff like that, just because he wanted to have a crossover, and I was like, you know what, sure, just more talking.
that's good. What you need to do, and maybe you already have, study some logical fallacies. Okay, there's a book, and it's an LSAT book. It's a preparation for law school, but it's got a fish on it, and it's like I think it's called the 32 logical fallacies. Something
Hmm.
maybe it's 33. But seriously, if you study logical fallacies, you will see them everywhere, and you will never argue bad again. You will you can hit so many people with logical fallacy and be like, "That's a fallacy. That's a fallacy." And sometimes I get away with it because I know it, but other people don't. But it's not a hard book to read if you just study a little bit about logical fallacies and understand the argumentations that people make, understanding that someone makes a claim, you don't have to if someone says this happened, you don't have to prove that it didn't happen, right? They have to prove that it happened. Knowing all of that stuff, you'll just crush debates all the time. That's why I'm
Yeah.
excited for tomorrow. But Pat's Pro's a smart guy, so he's probably
Hmm.
going to know a little bit of that stuff. But I'm hoping it's not. But yeah, logical fallacies. I hit people with it all the time. There's gifs on X where people will tweet me and I'll enter the gif and it'll be like straw man fallacy and it just has it what it is and they just straw man or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
All right,
Highly recommend, bro.
I'll do it. I'll do it. That's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. Catch you
Mhm.
later.